Hello, everyone, and welcome to Leadership and Neurodiversity. This will be the February 28th, March 1st edition. I think I'm going to be putting it out on February 28th instead of, I had planned on March 1st, but I think given the state of the situation in the United States, I think I need to put this out as soon as possible. This is going to be a state of affairs video, and I think it's going to be one of the hardest videos I've ever had to make. First item that I have to discuss is I've come to realize that I will almost certainly never be in a leadership role of any sort. Now, that is based on what society wants. I think that it's unfortunate, but I've been waiting for 3 years. There's no sign of anything improving anytime soon. Now, 3 years ago, on February 15th, 2022, I received an email where I was told that I would never be promoted from my then position, regardless of what I do. Well, congratulations to those authors. I will not name them here. I will not name the three people that were involved in the discrimination at this time. However, I will do so in the future. However, I will say if you worked with me at WTW, you know who those three people were. Anyway, you've won. Congratulations. Um, I hope you're all happy with that. Instead, I am looking to gain leadership through either volunteer work or through a being a member of a board of volunteers or a board of directors of some sort, or trying to do it through becoming an adjunct professor and making my mark that way. It's going to be a process, but as far as the world of work goes, I think I'm in the situation that I'm going to be in for the remainder of my career. I don't see much chance of it improving. And I feel bad because that actually leads to the next item, which is my current classwork. And I'm wrapping up my current class. I have two more classes in organizational leadership. I have a immersion weekend coming up in April, and I'm going to start asking questions of the administrators of the program. Listen, can you get me in touch with alumni or with leaders or something? Because I'm going to have a hard time doing research if my credibility is not there. And quite frankly, as you can imagine, I'm going to be working with autistic people. We're pretty blunt. um, we're very blunt about what we want and how we want to do it. So if I go in there and I say I've never been offered a leadership role, and I've never been connected to any leaders, people are going to start asking, what is this guy trying to pull? And that's going to be what I'm going. I'm not going to be nasty about it. I'm just going to start asking. Listen, is there any chance you can set me up with something? We'll see what happens from there. But I have to say, I'm not really optimistic on that one because I don't think the program at Indiana Tech really offers any support. I haven't seen any sign of it. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, but I haven't seen it for anybody else. So we'll see what happens, and we'll take it from there. I wanted to talk about the video I did on February 5th for Fordham University. It was kind of interesting because the video kind of broke up. The Zoom server broke down, so I had to re-record it over that weekend. It's on the YouTube channel. It's on the Leadership and Neurodiversity channel since then. But with that in mind, I have to talk about what's going on in the United States. I'm sure you've seen the headlines where Donald Trump and Robert F. Kennedy have said that autism is a threat to the American way of life, and so is ADHD. And I can tell you that I put out a list of five companies that I felt were the best suited for neurodivergent people in the United States on February 5th. And I recorded it. Went up again on February 9th. Right now, two of those five have dropped their DEI programs. And I think by the end of the year, it's going to be safe to say that neurodiversity hiring initiatives in the United States are finished. It's safe to say that DEI programs are going to be finished because they're going to be looking because the Department of Justice will be looking into them. They may try to prosecute or they may accuse them of discriminating against white people. being unfair to white people, and I think it's going to get ugly, folks. I hope I'm wrong, but I can't see it. I just can't see how this is going to work. Um, I see that the I can no longer rely on any company to support me. I mean, I feel that this is not a very good situation to be in, and I'm going to keep going with the. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing with the project, but I'm going to say this up front. I am scheduled to have a hiatus from August 17th until early January. If I don't get any connections of any sort, if I'm not in a better position, if I'm not in a leadership role that's bigger than a little league coach, let's say. I mean, I'm talking about something where I am on a board of directors, where I am on some sort of committee, where I'm doing something, then that hiatus will be extended. I wish that was not the case, but I think I have, and this is something that my advisors, my career counselor, and my therapist have agreed with me on. Completely agree with my doing this. They think it's the best move because it's time for me to get into a leadership role. I've earned that. Even though I'm not going to get in the corporate world, I deserve it somewhere, and I think it's time for that to happen. It has to. And I think if I'm not going to get some help with that, then quite frankly, I think it's time. I'll just continue the hiatus until things change for the better. As far as the corporate world goes, I'm 58 now. By the time we get to next administration, I'm going to be 62. Sorry, folks, that's not a good thing. I'm then would have to face ageism. And my career counselor has actually said, she's actually an executive coach. She's actually said, just look for jobs at the level you're at now, and even go down a level. That's pretty shocking. That's pretty sad because my she's a very aggressive person. She's taken a very aggressive approach with me, and I really appreciate it. I think when we started, she said I deserve to be in the next level. I deserve to be in a management role. And unfortunately, we've come to the determination that because of the situation with the job market in the United States, that will no longer be the case. That's no longer the case. It's no longer a viable option, and I feel bad about that. And it's not going to get better. By the time things change for the better, we think it's going to be 2028. I'm going to be 62 years old, and I'm going to be aged out probably. So unless I do something in other ways, the corporate world is pretty much done. My job level is done. I am going to say a few words now about self-employment. I am going to be starting a project in the near future where I'm going to be selling things. I'm going to be creating some things and selling them. I have some items that I've bought that I don't use that I'm going to sell that'll fund the things that I create and that'll make money. And I'm also looking at going into consulting. That way I don't get tied to a company. That way I get to control what I do. I'm also looking at other areas, other options, because I think this is probably, the best way to handle it. Now, I have become a huge fan of self-employment for neurodivergent people. And I can thank Margot Wask for that. She's a big supporter. She has a YouTube channel called Retrophiliac. She has a Etsy store. She has a fair store. She's on LinkedIn all the time writing about the positives of the necessity for many of us to be self-employed. And I think it's a great idea. And my wife's self-employed anyway, so I fully support it. There's no cons to that really. I mean, you have to build up the clients and you have to build up the practice, and it takes a while. But you build up the product, you have to sell the product, but I know what I'm going to be doing, and I'm doing it as an adjunct to my work, my current job. And I'm still looking and I'm going to come out and say this, I'm looking for another job in the same level. So, um, there's also another reason why that I need to find another job, and it doesn't have to happen today, but there's a reason why. I'm going to discuss that at a later date as we get further along in the year. But as far as getting back to self-employment, I think it's a great idea. I think a lot more neurodivergent people should get into it. I think I used to say, don't be afraid to be who you are in the corporate world. But I think given what's been said, and what the policies now are for autism and ADHD by the presidential administration in the United States. I'm now recommending that you mask. I recommend that you do not that if you go out and be who you are, that you make sure that your employer, if your employer is already aware of it, cool. But if they're not already aware of it, I can't recommend it in the United States. I wish I could. And I also can say that companies that say that they welcome who you are, they welcome your true self, they're usually lying about it. I've seen it happen so many times to both neurodivergent and neurotypical people. So I think this is going to be. So I think honestly, if you haven't disclosed, don't. If you have, make sure you stay true to that. Make sure as long as your managers are fine with it, don't worry about it. I'm going to stay true to who I am. I'm openly neurodivergent. I have no choice in that matter. I think that's enough. I think also the current situation in the United States is more than justifies my decision to not do my dissertation research in the United States because there are other countries that are more receptive to neurodivergent people, and I think I'm down. I'm pretty much committing to the United Kingdom. I am still looking at Canada. Um, But I also want to say that I may need to do a little fundraising to do it. I think some of that's going to be coming off my small business. It's really an eBay type business. Or I may use Etsy for some of the stuff I create. Um, I'm, I've got the materials that I need to start. I'm going to be starting that officially in April, at the end of April. Um, Probably right after immersion weekend in Indiana Tech. So we're looking at the end of April for that. So that's going to be the plan. I would like to see a sign that there's hope for people in the United States, but I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see much hope for my career as far as moving up the ladder. As far as staying where I'm at, I don't think that's a problem. I mean, I'm going to have to live with that. I have to accept that. That's the way it is. Society doesn't want me to move up. And I'm not angry at anyone. I don't blame anyone. I just know that I've been waiting for 3 years and it's time to accept that I can't do it. I don't have what it takes. And I'm going to have to find leadership in another way. Um, I hope people from Indiana Tech, I hope the administrators will watch this video because I would like to see like to work with them to figure something out before I start the research. And I know it's not going to start till 2026 at January 2026, but I'm prepared to hold out until I get something. So hopefully something will change. I'd like to see something change, but I can't be optimistic. Not in the atmosphere that we're in the United States. Now, I'm going to talk about the next couple of videos. We have Neurodiversity Celebration Week, the middle of March, and I'm going to tell you right now, my theme is what are we celebrating? Okay, because there really isn't much to sell. I don't think there's going to be much to celebrate. I mean, I'll do a video. I might do an article. I have a theme for the article for Autism Appreciation Day, April 2nd. I'm going to be putting out a video that day as well. Um, I'm not going to discuss what it's about yet. Actually, I'm sorry. I can talk about what it's going to be about because it's related to my future research and the transition that I'm hopefully will be making from student to researcher at some point in the next year or so. I hope. I mean, I don't think the classes are going to be a problem. There's only 2 classes left before I wrap up that portion of it. I have to sit out the fall for residency reasons because I have to get 1 credit in residency after I finish off the immersion weekend. I have to do September immersion weekend, but hopefully by then we'll have something in place and we can make something happen. I wish it was an easier video to make, but unfortunately for me, a lot of things have hit hard. And I think I'm going to be making some changes as to how I approach it. I mean, the first thing is I have to accept where I'm at. This is where I'm going to be. Um, and the state of affairs right now is that I'm trying to find a way to become a leader somewhere, somehow. And if you watch this and you can offer me any assistance, please contact me through my LinkedIn profile. I appreciate it. Contact. Again, I recommend. I will say again, I recommend you visit Margot Wask's YouTube channel, Retrophiliac. I visit her Etsy store. So become connect with her on LinkedIn. She's really good. There's also Mike Bedford over in the UK who's brilliant. He coaches neurotypical and neurodivergent people. He's a great guy. Big fan of his. He needs to be. I need to show him some respect as well. And then there's people like Jack Deerhayg, who also in the UK runs a company called Neuropool, which is a sort of which is basically a staffing firm for neurodivergent people, run by neurodivergent people. Um, there are These are people that I highly recommend you connect with. Dan Harris is somebody I hope you connect with too. He's done a great job bringing neuro inclusion to the United Kingdom. He also is a big advocate for his son who's nonverbal, or was mostly nonverbal, I should say. But the stories that have come out is that he's conquering the world by speaking volumes without saying a word, and I say he deserves a big round of applause for what he's doing. But all these guys, I mean, Nathan Chung is a cybersecurity guy, great guy. Highly recommend you connect with him. Um, there are plenty more out there. Autism Amazing did a great job. Deborah Kanya is the founder. She did a thing based on my quote: "If autism is not on the spectrum, then so are talents." I say, Deborah Kanya, check her out. Autism Amazing, check that out. Um, that's also on LinkedIn. So definitely follow these people and follow. Hopefully things will improve. I think they will, but it's where the direction is gonna be changed. So I hope to see you all in mid-March for the Neurodiversity celebration video. I hope to see you in April for the autism appreciation video. And I hope you all take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then.